Everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's morning over here. It's pretty chilly out here in California. Everything looks really good. It's still sunny. It hasn't been raining as much as I would like it to yet. So, but it's all right. Prayers up, prayers up, prayers up, prayers up, prayers up. So, this is just coming off the top of my dome. Nothing is written. You're just gonna hear me talk. But it's something that I've been dealing with for like not only for years, not only from time to time, not only when I'm being confronted with challenges, not only when I'm experiencing some kind of spiritual growth, or some people call it uh, growth pains or something like that. It's something along that nature. I know I chopped that word up, but yeah, growing pains. There you go. Yeah, growing pains, experiencing growing pains as I have in the past, but not as much, not really as often as other people do. However, what are we going to talk about? What is it about fatherhood? Where am I going with this? Are we going to be talking about how important it is in the house? Are we going to talk about what we can get out of the Urantia book and implicate what fatherhood ought to look like right now? Where is it right now? Where is it in the past, and where it's going? I don't fucking know. I really don't. All I know is I can tell you what I have experienced, and something that my wife have told me from time to time, every time we have a new kid arrive in our life, is that there is no playbook. There is no fixed guidelines to be a father, except be there and just show support. I grew up with a father who didn't want to be a father. And he's had about eight kids. Eight kids that I know of. I don't know how many others are running around, and I don't want to find out. I don't want to know. But me, on the other hand, I have three right now, with the fourth one on the way, the fourth one being a girl, and my life is a lot better than it was. However, being a father does come with lots of challenges and things that I have not seen my father go through. So as I'm going through it, and I'm doing it the way that I think it's best for not only the kids and the wife, but also for me. I don't like to put myself under so much pressure, and I don't agree with a lot that parents think that they ought to do with their kids. Like, for example, I I'm not the type right now to take kids to sports events and things outside of work, things that would necessitate them to be outside of the house. It's not just a money factor, but also making accommodations, making sure that your kid is on the same page with you when you're ready to take them out to wherever they need to be at, and also you also have the better responsibility that whatever happens to them, wherever you take them, is also going to fall back on you. I have listened to testimonies about kids being taken up to like Boy Scouts events, or after school events, like programs that they need to stay because the parents have to work a little bit longer. And so they have to find something that would help the kids to not only be protective and supervised, but being able to do their homeworks and still have a social life. And unfortunately, in some certain and rare situations, there are things that do happen to these kids, and it's horrifying. It's a fucking nightmare, and that's it's not so much the fact that things will happen to them. It's the fact that deep down inside, I'm supposed to be the father, and it will kill me to find out that if anything happens to my kid, that is going to mess them up somewhere down the line for the rest of their lives. And I got to be very careful with that, because growing up, I was a meth head. Let me take it a little further back. And my mom did what she could, and I was working with my mom, and she had a lot of clients. Some of the clients weren't good people, and I had my little rendezvous with some of these clients when my mom wasn't looking, and certain things were being passed down to me, certain things were being done to me, and I never really said a thing until maybe like in my early 20s when I developed a very nasty drinking problem. I would go around and just start sharing my testimony to people, but it wasn't in a very healthy way. I was going around telling people, hey, this happened to me in the past, so fuck you. This is why I am, and blah, blah, blah. So I was a fucking mess growing up. And it wasn't until I had met the woman who became my wife, but still, like, I was so fucked off. Like, I had already developed this habit of making friends with people, and about a week or two from now we would cut off communication because I'm just no longer interested in you. It's nothing personal. It's just, I just feel like I can't keep going, like, because I meet a lot of people every day, so it's hard for me to just keep it up, keep a friendship or some type of rapport with a person who I had met 2-3 weeks ago. This is why I don't have friends. But I digress. Let me go back to talking about fatherhood. Now, to me, it's starting to make more sense why Jesus was proclaiming bringing about God as a father, because it just feels like it entails a lot more responsibility. Sure, you could be a husband and you could be a husband towards your wife, but I think if you're a father, it is obvious that you have a partner who you impregnated, and it now requires you to step in and handle business. So now I'm starting to see that part about why Jesus showed God more like a father rather than just a man or a male figure that would do these things, and I think that would send the wrong message to later generations up until now, because now I'm thinking, well, there is a reason why Jesus never thought, I mean, never made that approach to be a father himself. I know there are rules that were implemented before he came down to earth, where Emmanuel told him, hey, you can't be down here doing whatever you think you can do as a human just because you think you can. So just be careful. Don't get into any relationships, especially intimate relationships. If you are gonna lay down, I'm just going based off what I think I read. So I sometimes I do read off of the in between lines type of thing, the gray area. So that's where I'm coming from. But the being a father does come with a lot of traits. You're not just a person who is responsible and in charge of other little people, but now you have to present yourself in a different way. You can't go out there doing the same stuff that you were doing and hope that you don't get caught. Now you have responsibility. Now people are going to be looking at you. Now you're definitely in a much worse situation if people find out that you have kids. See, I had to learn this the hard way. Whether I have to see things on TV and then I have to go experience these bad experiences myself, making bad decisions, ending up in jail, being away from my kids from time to time. See, all that really trickles down and it affects everybody. I know it had affected me when I went to jail one time, and all I kept thinking about was my babies. Like, I can't believe I let my babies go. I mean, I can't believe I let my babies down, even though they were like baby babies. I'm talking about at the time when this had happened. My youngest one had to be about like a year and a half, and then the other one, who's the predecessor, he was 3.5 at the time. No, 3. He was 3.5, something like that. So, being locked up in that room, I was just really beating myself up a lot. So when I came back out, I had a better, a clearer angle of what fatherhood means and what it should look like for me. Lately I've been having these daddy issues because we had bought this new house that you see me in, and I got to do some fixings. I got to get down and get my hands dirty. You know, I got to be okay with the fact that at any time, any day, anywhere, I gotta be ready. I gotta strap up, put some gloves on, and you know, handle some emergency. So, in other words, um, when I was reading the Urantia book and it was talking about how, now this is on a paper 56, I believe, or 57. I ran into a little part where it says, you know, kids do need their fathers as much as they need their mothers. And that statement is probably like the blandest statement that I can tell you right now, because what that means is there's so much that you can do that just your presence alone makes an impact on a kid, whether it's for good or for bad. You know, the things that you do around your kids sends a message to them. Okay, and I've gotten to the point where I'm being more self realize I'm experiencing more self-realization, and every day I take inventory. The only times I don't take inventory is when I have those fuck it moments and I just want to step outside the house and go get me something to drink and chill out somewhere, you know, like just chill the fuck out, like space out. We all go through that. Any one of you guys who have a problem with that because they don't like the way that I said it, well, go fuck yourself. Because you're not living my life. You don't know what the fuck I go through. You don't know what I have to go through to make my money and pay off these bills. So, how about that? And then, not to divert too much, but this is another reason why in the Urantia Book community on Facebook, when I bring up stuff about like real fatherhood issues here on Earth, like people don't want me to talk about that. Some readers get it when they see me ask these questions, both male and female of all ages. It doesn't matter. But there are those who are a little bit, they want to put themselves a little bit above others because they feel like they have read the Urantia book so many damn times that they rather just pick little quotes here and there from the book, but they'll never say anything personal. This is where I come in, and I'm an open book. I'm going to tell you, this is what I'm going through. Being a father, it's beautiful. It's absolutely something that I never thought that I would actually be doing. Like, this is something that I really didn't think that I was going to do growing up. I thought about being a boxer, a professional boxer, because I used to see Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield go at it with each other. You know, it was just a bloody, you know, whatever. But obviously, you look at me now, that's not what happened, because I didn't have parents who fucking listened to me when I was a kid, and I was hungry, and I was very ambitious. I just needed guidance and support, and I did not get that. And now that I have my two boys in my life and my daughter, and this next one that's going to come into my life is also a girl. So, but right now, what's hitting me hard when I think about how I grew up, I look at my boys and it just hits me all the time. It hurts because I'm reminded every time I look at them that I didn't have the support that I'm giving them. And I wonder how much do they realize that I'm giving them the support versus me feeling like I'm lacking that. You get what I mean? So, do I wish that I had a real father in my life, a father figure? I don't know, because I've only experienced a father who just really wasn't there. He was there physically, but he really wasn't there. He just did whatever he wanted to do, and then as soon as I turned 15, he bounced. He just disappeared. And the only way I knew about that was my mom came to me one day after I was just coming back from school. She had picked me up, and I had to go to an after school program just to stay out of the streets. And she told me, she broke it down, and she wasn't crying. I wasn't crying. None of us were crying, because my dad had made it a habit to the point where we were all looking forward to this, right? The habit was in the 90s. I was a kid. he would go back and forth from here to El Salvador. That's our mother. That's their motherland, not my motherland. United States is my motherland. So I don't give a fuck about all that racial shit. Fuck that. I'm here. So he was going back and forth from here to El Salvador. He had business out there, and he was doing some things he wasn't supposed to be doing. My mom found out about it, and then he came over here and he did some things that he regret doing, and that he made a mistake of he did something that got the cops involved. Let's just say that he lost his job out here. He started losing his money. Did not want to spend time learning the English language. He thought all this was just a fad, and he just didn't like none of the stuff that was going on out here. So we all told him as a family, and I remember this because he wanted to argue with us. We all told him, my mom, me, and 3 other brothers. It's 5 of us, but only 3 other more was with us when this happened. In unison, we all stood up and looked at him and said, well, why don't you just go back then? We're already here. We're staying here. You can go back. And in a short amount of time, he went back. Yeah. We didn't give a fuck. But now that I'm a father and I see that I compare my fatherhood with the way my dad had done things, I could see where he messed up. And he had messed up a lot. He messed up a lot. And keep in mind that prior to having us in his life, he already had 3 other kids in another relationship. And he didn't do anything with them. So, yeah, deadbeat dads. I was going through a phase where I was wondering why didn't Jesus make the decision to become a father himself so that I could see this as I'm growing up and I have my own kids. But then I have to keep in mind that not everybody is suitable to be any sort of parent in a kid's life. So I could see that there are going to be problems down the road had Jesus did his thing as a human, got married, did the whole Jewish thing during that time, raised his kids real good, and then he went off to do, in this afterlife and blah, blah, blah. Later on down the road, this would have been part of our religion, something that we would talk about out of the Bible, and people would come out of the woodwork saying, I wasn't ready to become a father, but they forced me because somebody had told me that Jesus was a father and he had kids, and a lot of fuckery happens around the world. Kids are being abused, killed, strangled, dragged, fucking dismembered. I mean, just ugly fucking shit that haunts me during the fucking night. I don't like to hear these things. I used to have a strong stomach. Now I don't. I really don't, because I have to think about looking out for mine, but I'm also struggling with the growth, my parenting, my maturity, all of that. So I'm gonna just leave it up. I'm gonna leave it up with this, guys. I'm trying to practice on keeping this short, sweet, simple, however, and just add my flavor to it. Let me know what you guys think. Well, what do you guys think about how Jesus went about presenting the Father and painting a whole picture about this family and how that plays an effect in modern age where people are still trying to figure out how to do this parenting thing together. So you let me know. Put it down in the comment box. I would like to hear from you. All right, peace.